You must understand this. See, one thing is, you have not seen the world. You have only seen it the way it's reflected in the mirror of your mind. Yes? You're not seeing the world as it is. You're seeing it in the mirror of the human mind as it is distorted in a particular way. If you were a grasshopper, you would be seeing the world very differently. If you were some other creature, you would be seeing the world very differently. So your mirror is a certain level of prejudice. Among all the creatures, what evolution means is, on one level, your mirror is fairly more plain compared to the mirrors that other creatures hold in their mind. Suppose there is a tiger here, I'm talking about the animal. If there was a tiger here, he looks like this. Dinner, breakfast, lunch. He can't think beyond that because his mirror is like that. The mirror of his mind shows him only food. Compared to other creatures, a human being has a better leveled out mirror, but it can get distorted depending upon the varieties of identifications and prejudices we gather with life. If you're very strongly identified with something, then you don't see things as they are. Everything gets distorted in your mind. But if we work upon it, if we polish our mind sufficiently, it could become a plain mirror where it shows everything as it is. But still, a mirror doesn't really capture anything. If you see an old mirror which is 500 years old or 200 years old, whatever, maybe a million different faces might have been reflected in that mirror, but not a trace of any of those faces remain in the mirror, because a mirror just reflects. Similarly, your mind just reflects what the five sense organs are grasping right now. It reflects everything, not necessarily the way it is, but it reflects everything except you. You can never come in front of the mirror because you're always behind the mirror. You can never come in the front face of the mirror, you're only in the rear side of the mirror. So what this means is, you never experience the world the way it is, nor did you ever get to experience who is behind the mirror. Entire life goes just seeing many images that come in the mirror which don't leave a trace on it. This is the reason why over 80% of the people, the moment of death, if you watch them carefully, you will see they're bewildered, because only when it begins, when that moment comes when it's going to be ending the way you know it, suddenly you realize you never lived it. You never got started, already these guys are saying it's over. You will see people who had strong experiences, not necessarily because of their enlightenment or something. Let's say they had very strong experiences in terms of very powerful situations or events in life, maybe wars and revolutions and extreme situations, even accidents, extreme situations where there was no room to think. There just was a big drama happening, where in many ways the mirror of the mind broke and something more happened for whatever reasons. Either pleasant or unpleasant, it doesn't matter. You will see only such people will either die in joy or in pain. All others die bewildered. Even if there is physical pain due to some ailment or some bodily state, when that moment comes, you will see this confusion because suddenly you realize the last moment you never got started and it's getting over. So either you must see the creation as it is, or you must experience the one behind the mirror. If both these things don't happen, all you watch was what are the reflections on the mirror, this is not life. There is no purchase to life, there is no roots to life, it's just passing. The activity of the mind and the activity of the body is the only satisfaction most people have, because they do not know the bliss of their being. So, we don't want to shatter the mirror, we want to keep the mirror, but we want to find a way to slip behind the mirror. Shall we? This is just to give you an access to something more than your mind in your life. Right now, it's all this bloody stupid mind, that's all you have experiencing. Thought and emotion, thought and emotion, thought and emotion. These are just images on the mirror, has no significance, has no depth, it's two-dimensional, just a reflection. Entire life is going, seeing the reflections of life. Not good way to spend life, isn't it? So, this is not another trick that you exercise in the world. This is something that you do within yourself so that you are able to slip behind the mind. You have enough mastery over the thing. If you focus, it'll open up holes. You become so fine, you pass through the mind. Even the mind doesn't know you pass through. To keep it so subtle, it needs lots of work.
Dear seekers, have you ever wondered why, despite achieving worldly success, a lingering sense of dissatisfaction remains within you? What is the nature of the mind that constantly seeks pleasure yet seldom finds lasting contentment? How can one transcend the ceaseless chatter of the mind to experience the pure bliss of being? In our ceaseless pursuit of happiness, we often find ourselves entangled in the web of the mind. The mind is a magnificent instrument. It is a tool of immense power and potential. Yet, it is also the source of our greatest suffering. It is through understanding the nature of our mind that we can uncover the profound bliss that lies beyond it. The mind is like a restless monkey, constantly jumping from one thought to another, from one desire to the next. This incessant activity creates a never-ending cycle of craving and aversion. We seek pleasure, but when we attain it, the satisfaction is fleeting. Almost immediately, the mind moves on to the next desire. This cycle leaves us perpetually dissatisfied. Consider the example of a person who climbs the corporate ladder. achieving one success after another. From the outside, it appears they have got everything: a thriving career, financial security, societal status. Yet, often such individuals feel a sense of emptiness inside. This is because true contentment cannot be found in external achievements. The mind's desires are insatiable and they can never be fully satisfied. To understand the mind's nature is to realize that it is always in a state of becoming. It is never still, never content with what is. The mind is constantly projecting into the future, thinking, if only I had this or that, then I would be happy. But the future is an illusion. It never arrives as the mind envisions it. The present moment, the here and now, is all that exists. And it is in this present moment that the bliss of being can be found. Meditation is the key to transcending the mind. It is the practice of being present. It is the practice of observing the mind without getting caught up in its drama. When you sit in meditation, you simply watch the thoughts as they arise and pass away. You do not cling to them, nor do you push them away. You become a witness. You become a silent observer. In this state of witnessing, you start to see the mind for what it truly is. It is nothing but a collection of thoughts, memories, and desires that have no inherent reality. As you deepen in meditation, a space opens up within you. This space is the essence of your being. It is the silent awareness which is always present, which is always at peace. This awareness is not something you can achieve. It is your very nature. It is the backdrop against which the drama of the mind plays out. When you rest in this awareness, you experience a profound sense of bliss. You experience a profound joy that is not dependent on external circumstances. Imagine a lake with a surface that is constantly disturbed by the wind. The waves and ripples represent the activity of the mind. But deep below the surface, the water is still and calm. This depth represents your true nature, the blissful being that lies beyond the mind. By practicing meditation, you learn to dive deep into this inner stillness. You learn to experience the peace which is your birthright. In our daily lives, we can bring this awareness into everything we do. Whether we are working, eating, or simply sitting in nature, we can practice being present, fully engaged in the moment. This presence transforms even the most mundane activities into opportunities for experiencing the bliss of being. When you are fully present, the mind's chatter fades into the background and you become aware of the vibrant aliveness of each moment. Remember, dear seekers, the journey to discovering the bliss of being is not about achieving something new. It's about recognizing and returning to what has always been within you. It is about shedding the layers of conditioning and false beliefs that obscure your true nature. It is a return to the simplicity and innocence of being. Dear seekers, as we delve deeper into the exploration of our inner being, let us consider the role of awareness in our daily lives. Awareness is the light that illuminates our inner world, revealing the patterns and tendencies of the mind. When we cultivate awareness, we become attuned to the subtle movements of our thoughts and emotions. This heightened sensitivity allows us to respond to life with clarity and compassion. rather than reacting out of habit and conditioning. Imagine you're walking through a beautiful forest. If you are lost in thought, worrying about the future, or dwelling on the past, you miss the beauty that surrounds you. The rustling leaves, the chirping birds, the fragrance of the earth, all these gifts of the present moment go unnoticed. But when you walk with awareness, each step becomes a dance, each breath a connection to the living world around you. You experience a profound sense of unity with nature, which is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all life. This same principle applies to our interactions with others. When we are fully present with another person, we then create a space of genuine connection and understanding. We listen not just with our ears, but with our whole being. In this space of presence, true communication can take place. We see the other person not as a projection of our own mind, but as a unique and precious being. This deepens our relationships and fosters a sense of compassion and empathy. Awareness also brings about a transformation in our understanding of ourselves. The more we observe the mind, the more we realize that we are not our thoughts. Thoughts are transient, they are ever-changing phenomena that arise and pass away. They are like clouds in the sky, sometimes dark and stormy, sometimes light and fluffy, but always temporary. The sky itself, however, remains vast and unchanging. Similarly, our true nature is like the sky. It is a boundless awareness which is untouched by the comings and goings of thoughts. This realization is profoundly liberating, dear seekers. It frees us from the tyranny of the mind, from the incessant identification with our thoughts and emotions. We begin to see that our worth and identity do not depend on the contents of our mind. We are already whole, complete, and perfect as we are. This understanding brings a deep sense of peace and acceptance. In practical terms, how can we nurture this awareness in our daily lives? One simple yet powerful practice is to take moments throughout the day to pause and check in with ourselves. This can be as brief as a few conscious breaths or as long as a dedicated meditation session. During these moments, we bring our attention to the present, observing our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. We simply allow ourselves to be as we are. Another practice is to engage in mindful activities. This can be anything from walking, eating, or even washing the dishes. The key is to bring our full attention to the task at hand, to be fully present with each movement and sensation. This transforms ordinary activities into opportunities for meditation and awareness. As we continue to cultivate awareness, we'll find that the mind's grip on us begins to loosen. The thoughts that once seemed so compelling and important lose their power over us. We no longer react to them with the same intensity. Instead, we respond to life from a place of calm and centeredness. This is the essence of true freedom. The freedom to be ourselves, the freedom to live authentically and joyfully. Dear seekers, let us embrace this journey of self-discovery with openness and courage. Let us trust in the wisdom of our own being and in the transformative power of awareness. The mind may continue its restless dance, but we can choose to rest in the stillness of our true nature. In this stillness, we find the bliss that we have been seeking all along.